Pause for a moment and be honest with yourself. Why does someone else's opinion still have so much power over you? Why can a single comment ruin your entire day, while years of effort don't seem to carry the same weight? The truth is harsh but freeing. As long as you keep searching for your value outside yourself, you will remain a prisoner of other people's validation. But what if you could change that today? What if there were a way to become emotionally unshakable, to the point where criticism no longer hits you, rejection doesn't diminish you, and the lack of recognition no longer disturbs your peace? The Stoics mastered this art more than 2,000 years ago, and in this video, you will discover how to build a value so solid within yourself that without even realizing it, you begin to attract the best people, opportunities, and respect naturally. But it all starts with a simple decision. Comment now. I choose myself first. Because from this moment on, your life can begin to change. Musonius Rufus, one of the great Stoic teachers, once said that what you think about yourself is far more important than anything others think about you. And yet how many times have you allowed someone else's words to define your mood, your confidence, even your worth? Stoicism is not just an ancient philosophy. It is a practical guide to living with strength, clarity, and emotional independence in a world that constantly tries to distract you, judge you, and shape you. And it all begins with one fundamental principle. Behavior 1. The power of internal control. Most human suffering comes from a simple confusion, trying to control what was never yours to control. You don't control what people say about you. You don't control how they interpret your actions. You don't control the recognition you receive or don't receive, but you do control something far more powerful, your interpretation. A negative comment is not painful by itself. It becomes painful the moment you accept that narrative as truth. It's like the wind. You can't stop it from blowing, but you can adjust your sails. Epictetus taught that it's not events that disturb us, but our judgments about them. And that changes everything. Imagine doing something great and not being recognized. If your peace depends on applause, you suffer. But if your peace depends on your own conscience, you remain steady. When you understand this, something shifts inside you. You stop handing your emotional stability over to others, and you begin to build something no one can take from you. Behavior 2. Benevolent understanding. Now think about how many times you've felt offended by someone. A harsh word, a disapproving look, an unexpected criticism. The automatic reaction is to take it personally. But what if it's not about you? What if most of the time it's just a reflection of the other person's inner chaos? Marcus Aurelius wrote that when someone wrongs you, you should try to understand where it comes from. Not to justify the behavior, but to avoid being poisoned by it. Hurt people hurt people. Someone who is overwhelmed, insecure, or frustrated often projects that onto others without even realizing it. It's like a disturbed lake. The waves don't show the nature of the water. They show what is disturbing it. When you understand this, you stop reacting impulsively. You observe with clarity, and that clarity protects you, because you realize that not every criticism is a judgment of your worth. Many are just echoes of someone else's internal battles. Behavior 3. The strength of inner virtue. This is where everything begins to solidify. Your value is not in what you have, not in what others think, not in recognition, status, or validation. Your value is in your character, in your ability to act with integrity when no one is watching, in your courage in the face of difficulty, in your discipline when it would be easier to give up. The Stoics believed that virtue is the only true good, and when you build your identity on that, you become unshakable. Imagine someone who fails publicly, loses status, faces criticism. If their worth depends on external opinion, they collapse. But if their worth is rooted in their own integrity, they rebuild, because they know who they are. Right in the middle of this journey, let me invite you to take one simple step. If you want to keep strengthening your mind and building a life with more inner peace and maturity, subscribe to the channel Stoic Spring. This will help you develop emotional consistency and grow every single day. Now, let's continue. When you place virtue above everything, you stop negotiating your dignity for approval, and that completely changes how the world sees you. But there's an even deeper level to this transformation. Behavior 4. Emotional self-sufficiency. Imagine a tree with deep roots, firmly grounded in the earth. It doesn't depend on perfect weather to stand tall. It doesn't need constant sunlight or applause from the sky to grow. It sustains itself from within. Now compare that to how many people live today. If they receive attention, they feel good. If they're ignored, they feel invisible. If they're praised, they feel worthy. If they're criticized, they feel inadequate. Do you see the problem? When your emotions depend on the outside, you lose control of your own life. Emotional self-sufficiency doesn't mean isolation or indifference. It means not depending on others to feel whole. Think about someone going through a breakup. The pain is real. The emptiness is real. But there's a difference between feeling the pain and losing yourself in it. Someone emotionally dependent believes they lost their value with the relationship. Someone emotionally strong understands the relationship was part of life, but not the definition of who they are. They still have their ability to love, to grow, to begin again. They don't abandon themselves. And that is power, because when you learn to sustain yourself internally, you stop accepting emotional crumbs. You stop begging for attention. You stop reshaping yourself to fit others' expectations. You begin to choose, and those who choose naturally attract better behavior. 5. Rational indifference. This is the principle that ties everything together, and it's often misunderstood. Indifference here doesn't mean coldness, it doesn't mean not caring. It means caring about the right things. The Stoics taught that some things are preferable, like health, recognition, comfort, but none of them define your worth or your happiness, and the biggest mistake is turning those things into necessities. An artist creates something with dedication and passion. When presenting it, they receive harsh criticism. If they depend on approval, they collapse. But if they understand that the value lies in the process, in the integrity of what they created, they remain steady. If the criticism is useful, they improve. If it's empty, they discard it. Simple as that. Seneca said, "It's not the man who has little who is poor, but the one who desires more than he needs." And this applies perfectly here. It's not the lack of recognition that destroys you. It's the need for it. When you free yourself from that dependence, you stop living based on others' reactions. You start living based on your truth, and that is freedom. Now look at everything you've learned. You discovered that your power lies in internal control, that many criticisms are not about you, but about those who make them, that your true value is in your virtue, that your peace must come from within, and that the external world cannot define who you are. These are not just ideas, they are tools. Tools to build a strong mind, a solid identity, and a lighter life. Now the question is, which of these principles spoke to you the most? Which one can you start applying today? Don't try to change everything at once. Choose one, and take it seriously. Because when you truly start valuing yourself, something shifts. You stop chasing and you start attracting. Your presence changes, your energy changes, your choices change, and without realizing it, your life begins to follow that new standard. Your value was never out there. It has always been within you. It was just waiting to be recognized. If this video resonated with you, then take the next step. Subscribe to the channel Stoic Spring and turn on notifications. This will help you build the habit of strengthening your mind, protecting your inner peace, and growing in maturity every single day. And before you go, leave a comment. My value comes from within. Let that mark the beginning of a new phase in your life. And if you want to continue this journey, watch the next video on your screen right now. It might be exactly the next step you need.